Hey everyone, good evening and welcome to another episode of Water for the Thirsty. The word simply, the word refreshing. My name is Jared and I'm the facilitator of the conversation tonight. And with me is Jerry from far away and Lauren from not as far away. In trying to call it a business day in the street. But welcome, guys. Appreciate you being here with us tonight. I think we're expecting a handful more to come in the room in a little bit. Since the last time we got together, we have read the book of Mark, a lot of Jeremiah, and still Kenrick's book, the Psalms. I think we also touched a little bit of Habakkuk, Zephaniah, that time period. But we spent a lot of time in Jeremiah since the last time we got together. So our conversation is going to come out of there. Jerry and Lauren, good weeks.
Yeah, God's been good. I'll say that much.
All right.
Right, right.
Taking it. God has been good.
Yes,
All right.
being
Well,
grateful.
I had a handful of things. Um, One of them happened to be out of Jeremiah chapter 26. And no, we're not all the way to the end of Jeremiah yet, but the book of Jeremiah is not written chronologically. So to read it in chronological order, you kind of have to skip around. So we went through 1 through 12, and then we jumped to 26, and then we're going back to 7 and 8. So you move around the book kind of like that. Was it today? No, yesterday. Today's the 19th. No, today's reading. Yeah, was the 26th. Jeremiah 26. So I continue to wrestle with this idea. I don't know what resolution I came to last time because clearly the question has come back up. So I'm not sure where we landed, if we landed, and if I even yeah. The, the fact that the question persists means I didn't get a firm answer, so that when I read it this time, I was clear, right?
Mhm.
So if we could go Jeremiah 26, we'll read from verses 2 to 6. Let me to read it. Jeremiah 26, verses 2 to 6. I'm going to read from verse 1 through 6. I'm reading from the New International Reader's Version, which is the children's Bible, essentially. A message from the Lord came to Jeremiah. It was shortly after Jehoiakim became king of Judah. He was the son of Josiah. Verse 2 is where I said we were going to start from. The Lord said to Jeremiah, stand in the courtyard of my house, speak to the people of the towns in Judah, speak to all those who come to worship in my house. Tell them everything I command you. Don't leave out a single word. The next verse, verse 3, my Bible says, perhaps they will listen. Maybe they will turn from their evil ways. Then I would not do what I said I would. I will not bring trouble on them. I had planned to punish them because of the evil things they had done. Tell them, the Lord says, listen to me, obey my law that I gave you, and listen to the words my servants, the prophets, are speaking. I have sent them to you again and again, but you have not listened to them. I was I stumbled over the word perhaps and maybe. I stumbled over those words because I'm like, does he know or does he not know? Which is it? Is he hopeful or is he blowing smoke? Which is it? Is he omniscient or not? Because if he's omniscient, who omniscient uses words like maybe and perhaps? Now, it could be that I just read in a botched version of the Bible. So, Jerry, I'm going to ask you to read that verse in your King James version of the Bible back there, verse 3,
King Jews, let me get it again.
uh, 26 3. Jeremiah 26, verse 3. I'm asking if you could read it in the King James version. We're going to go
In
through.
the
Lauren,
New
what
King
Bible you
James
reading?
Version. Hang on. I think
What
it
Bible you reading, Lauren?
because I
I,
often read
I
ESV
have
version.
NLT.
Read that NLT. NLT probably have perhaps and maybe. So,
Yeah, it has.
perhaps and maybe. Um,
You said 26:3?
yeah, Jeremiah 26 verse 3.
Right. If so, if
If
so,
so.
yeah, if so be they will hearken and turn every man from his evil way, that I may repent me of the evil which I purpose to do unto them because of the evil of their doings.
Mhm. So
So,
there's a chance that they might do it. There's a chance that they might not, and
well,
God appears to be taking that. If so, is a conditional statement, right? Just like maybe and perhaps, right?
right. But it seems to be that it's like, well, if they turn, I would bring this evil upon them. But it's almost like rest assured, if they don't turn, I'm a bring the pay.
Yes, that's absolutely right. It's a warning. It's a 40 days and this place will be destroyed, Nineveh, because the intent is for them to change their ways, right? The intent is not to destroy them unless you have to.
Unless
Be faithful to your word, but it's a warning so that they would change. So
maybe
it
it's
is,
less for him and more for Jeremiah.
I struggle with that because of what God says to Ezekiel. Ezekiel tells them, harden your heart. I mean, bind your belly because they ain't gonna listen to you, but go anyway, right? And if and maybe and perhaps are not words of people who know what's going to happen. They're people, words of someone who's hopeful that you'll do
I,
something different, and is not sure.
I had a slightly different spin on it. I felt like, and I mean, again, it's just a own opinion. I felt like he knows what's gonna happen, but he's not letting on to you that he knows. He's not gonna tell you what the outcome is gonna be. Because I feel like very often God knows if He gives us too much information, He won't get us to act. So usually His instruction is all we need to obey if we have faith. And it's like if I tell you, I mean, it's like let's be real. If He told the three Hebrew boys, "Yeah, you're really gonna end up in the furnace," or Daniel, "You're really gonna end up in the lions," then they might have been like, "Oh, hold on, I fine print. I didn't sign up for this, right?" So it's almost like they may or they may not. You don't really need to know that right now. What you need to do is this.
Mm.
That's it. That was just my take on it.
Mm. So why one word for Jeremiah and another word for Ezekiel?
Um, I guess based on the readiness of either.
How
One
about I say
probably.
one could handle the truth and one
Ah, that's right. You can't handle the truth, yeah. Because I think God really meets us where we are, right? Not where we're pretending to be. So if He understands that, look, I mean, I like to use myself as an example. There are things that I know if God said to me or did to me, bruh, I mightn't be even here right now. I'd have just been wilding out. Been like, forget you. So you have to, just leave breadcrumbs and not lay out the whole plan, because yeah.
So what I'm hearing you say is this isn't his. So he's kind of intentionally being. What's the word I'm looking for? He's not misleading or withholding. I don't believe that, but he's not leaving it obscure.
Yeah, he does it throughout the whole Bible. So I mean, he's like, I'm saying this way because I'm telling you. Like he does it all the time. Even with the disciples, and they're like, "Why did you say these things like this?" Like, because blah 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 blah. We don't want these people to understand, or, you know. Like there's, I think he communicates in a way depending on the audience of who he's speaking to and their level of maybe comprehension and acceptance of
Let me
what
ask
he's
you this, right? Who was he talking to when he said it repent him that he made man. When he second guessed that, well, then second guess, but when he, what does repentant mean? What does that mean? Let me see if I get. I don't want to mischaracterize the word.
You know what was it like?
That was Genesis 4 or 5. No, Genesis 6. The Lord was very sad that he had made human beings on the earth. Genesis 6:6. What was the word that's there? I think it's the same word as in here. Because your version says he repented, he would repent and change his position.
Mine says the Lord was sorry he had ever made man.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Regret.
Mm-hmm.
To be sorry, to repent, to regret, to be comforted, to be sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I could be sorry if I know that as a potential outcome. And I did it knowing that it could possibly happen. But even still with that, right? It don't feel like
but would
I'm
you be
walking into this knowing it's going to go like this.
wouldn't
I
you
know
be
that it
especially
can go
sorry if
like
you
this.
know it's the outcome though?
Huh?
Wouldn't you be especially sorry if you know it's going to be the outcome?
No.
Why
No. Not if there's a chance, yes, I would be sorry. Because you're hopeful, right? Like the hopefulness of it. I'm hoping that this will come go this way, and if it goes this way, man, I know that was a chance. So I'm sorry, but if I know it going this way, I'm prepared for it.
You'll be
And I'm
prepared,
not
but you'll still
sorry
be
about it.
sorrowful. I mean,
No, I
it's
won't
like
be
if
sorry.
again, here's how I look at it. If I know I have an ailing family member and I know it is, even if I try to prepare myself, I'm still going to be sorrowful when it happens because I'm still going to miss them.
Sorrowful is different from sorry. And yes, I will be sorrowful. It'll be sad that it's happened. I won't be
sorry
using
it
words
happened
like
too.
sorry, regret, and repent. No. Now, if I failed to do something and I didn't get a chance to do it, yeah, then I'm experiencing regret and sorry. I'm sorry. I was sorry I was late. I was sorry I didn't get a chance to close things off the right way. Like,
So
I knew it was coming and I still went down the road. So I'm sorry about that.
I think it's like, God already knows who is going to be saved and who's not, who's going to make it to heaven and who's not. And I feel like on Judgment Day, when, if he knows person X is still going to burn, he will still be sorry that person didn't make decisions to not burn.
Right. So sorry that they did that. Yes, absolutely. This says he's sorry that he did it. Right? This is about his action. Which, if I'm sorry about what I did,
yeah,
I can't be sorry what I did if I know it's going to go, if I know for a fact that this is not just a potential outcome, but the outcome. Potential outcome, yes, that makes more sense. Knowing it going this way.
Maybe it's sorry, not necessarily that he made us, but that he made us and now he has to wipe us out because of the state that we got through.
The word quotes the man as saying, and we could read it in 4 different versions if necessary to get a clearer understanding. But 6:6
what you doing as well is giving me homework from a Hebrew class on Sunday.
Yeah. The Lord
hit up the dude and be like, hey.
The Lord was very sad that he had made human beings on the earth. His heart was filled with pain.
Right. He was heartbroken that he had to kill them. Because following right after that, he said, I'm going to wipe the human race that I created. Like, I'm about to kill them all.
And then he goes and says it a second time, lower down in verse 7. I am very sad that I have made human beings.
And give them free will, and all they do is jack up that free will, right?
Right. So I just, I am not... I'm trying to reconcile the idea of omniscience with the expressions, the recorded expressions of God in these multiple places that is expressing this hopeful, uncertain, sorry and regretful. And I'm trying to reconcile all of that with omniscience. Maybe I don't fully understand omniscience, and I'm not saying that my understanding is the greatest. So I'm just that I tripped up over it today because and what I wrote is perhaps there's a chance, you're not sure but hopeful. That seemed a little incongruent to omniscience, and so I'm just looking to reconcile it. I'm not trying to cast any aspersions on saying that God is not omniscient. I'm just trying to see how that works. How does that work to know be omniscient and still have that?
The wording is curious, but I don't know. I think that just demonstrates the gravity of what we've done and the effect of what we've done or who we've become, the gravity of that effect on him. Seeing us in the state we're in when it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, we were created a little lower than the angels, right? Crowned with glory and honor, and we just completely messing this thing up. While, of course, believing we have exclusive rights to, things like moral high ground and all that, right? We're the best.
Think about this, Jerry. Think about this scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you leave the house today, you're going to get in a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for sure there's
100%.
car going to crash today.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Right? When you get in the crash, are you sorry you went out that day? If you leave home knowing you're going to crash? Now, if you leave home knowing there's a chance you could crash, and you didn't plan, I mean, you have a plan in case you do crash, right? You do have a plan in case you do crash. You account for that and you have a plan. Which one of those scenarios is more likely to have you being sorry that you left to go out that day? Knowing you're going to crash, or knowing there's a chance you're going to crash?
Again, I think if I know 100% I'm going to crash, I will actually be more sorrowful. Because I'll feel almost like there was no other way.
Sorrowful. Like sorrowful. You keep using.
I would feel sorry. Yeah, I get you. And they're not interchangeable. You're right. They're not interchangeable. Yeah, that's sorrowful. Yes, the sorry part.
The regret. That's the part. The sorry regret.
Well, I mean, the regret is even more. I think even more dramatic because, like I said, I'd feel like there's no other way. Like it's almost like my hand was forced.
I'm trying to make this like on my level. So I'm like, okay, if my brain is still working on it. So if I have a child and I tell the child, you play with the stove, you're gonna get burnt. It's gonna burn off your hand. Let's say it's like a flame. So I know for sure. I'm omniscient, but I know fire burns. You know what I'm saying? You touch it, you get burnt. And I tell you not to touch it. I warn you, I give you all the things, and you go touch it. And not only did you touch it, but it like burnt. Somehow you knock this, spill this, and like, let's say you're not here or you're really badly damaged. Like, some would be sorry I ever let you in the kitchen for you to even get burned. You get what I'm saying? Like man, that's all me. Like I should have, like like that regret. Like I couldn't have made it.
Florian, you're still hopeful. You're still hopeful that you wouldn't, right? You're still hopeful that the person wouldn't. That's that. Even the scenario you created, there's a hopefulness in your heart, and there's an uncertainty about the outcome. There's certainty about the potential outcomes, right? Like if you do this, this will happen.
Yeah.
But the certainty of that being the outcome, it would change your, well, let me say, your response to that outcome is now a response to the uncertainty that it may have happened. So I'm asking you to speak to the certainty. What's your response if you're sure that it's happening this way? Like even looking at Jesus, he was not caught by surprise about Judas, right? And his response to it wasn't like, oh man, he broke my heart. It was like, nah, I knew this was coming, so I prepared for it, right? Do what you had to do because
But it still hurt.
It still hurt, but he wasn't experiencing regret, right?
Okay. It doesn't say that. Yeah.
But you don't even see it from the way he responded or acted, right?
Mhm.
Open the door, please. No, somebody's outside. You locked it. I'm saying I need to open it. Yeah. I just open it now. Thank you. What's up, Carrick?
What's up, brother?
Good to see you, man.
You too, you too, you too.
Yeah, so I stumbled over Jeremiah. Just close it in. Don't close it, just close it in. Leave it cracked a little bit. Go push it more, push it more. All right, go ahead. Leave it right there. Come in, partner. Come in. No, you're good, Sammy. Thank you. Sammy, you know Chevy? Yeah. Okay. Chevy, Sammy, Chevy. And then the others will meet him as well. Sorry. Come in. I put a chair here for you. One of my friends is visiting, and so we were gonna link up and tell him I have this going on as they come through, and so he came through. So, Carrick, I stumbled over Jeremiah 26 today again. I don't know if how much we talked about this before, but what I stumbled over again was on this one to do what? Okay, we have to talk about that later, buddy. Yeah. Sammy, we got to talk about it another time, but can't do that right now. You good?
Yeah.
All right. You staying behind the camera?
Yeah.
All right. That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. So I was stumbling over, trying to reconcile in my brain how the omniscient person uses words like perhaps, maybe, perhaps and maybe. I'm telling you this, and I'm telling you, well, perhaps this will happen if you do that, and perhaps maybe they won't do this, and I'm trying to figure out how that. I'm trying to reconcile those two ideas in my head, and I was drawing from other experiences like Genesis, where God, expresses regret, sorry for, being sorry that He made man. Like there are a couple other instances where God is quoted as not as appearing to not be certain about the outcome, but prepared for any eventual outcome.
Where are you seeing the perhaps and maybe in the verse?
Verse
Because I
3.
wonder if it's just
Verse 3, 26:3. What version you reading?
NLT.
Right, go ahead, read it in your version. Lorraine had queued that up, but we didn't get a chance to read it just yet.
Perhaps they will listen and turn from their evil ways. Then I will change my mind about the disaster I am ready to pour out on them because of their sins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's hopeful. There's a hopefulness in this expression that if you go and talk to them, there's a chance.
Yeah, and I think that's so. I think it's less, that message is in and of itself. I'm just looking at the communication of it. That's to Jeremiah.
Yes.
Right. It seems like the emphasis is on him to do, less the results of.
Okay. Yes.
Right. So I just need you to do this. It may turn out good. It may turn out bad. That's not for you to worry about. It's just, I need you to do this. And I think it's the focus of who he's talking to and what he's trying to get that person to do. Discounting the results that the person may see. Because I mean, I think there's so many times when we believe like we're supposed to do A, B, C, and D, and it doesn't turn out the way we anticipated it to turn out when we actually obey and do A, B, C, and D. And it really had nothing to do with the results of. It had everything to do with, whether or not you're going to do what I ask you to do and just do what I say. So I think, as we say, the emphasis may be on the wrong syllable here.
So this is more in the context of Jeremiah, but Lorraine kind of posited that idea a little bit earlier, and I received it. But when I contrasted that with Genesis, I'm wondering who God is talking to in Genesis chapter 6. Who's he talking to?
Genesis 6.
It almost is written like he's talking to themselves. The God is having a conversation among the Godhead, as opposed to, or maybe he's talking out loud, muttering to himself. It doesn't feel like it's part and parcel of any communication to Noah in Genesis 6:6.
You lost me at the sons of God had intercourse with women. So where are we with this?
6:6. The 6:6? Yeah.
What's up, Jerry?
I'm good.
Yeah, Genesis 6:5 and 6. The Lord saw how bad the sins of everyone on the earth had become. They only thought about evil things. The Lord was very sad that he had made human beings on the earth. His heart was filled with pain. So the Lord said, I created human beings, but I will wipe them out. I'll also destroy the birds, the animals, and everything. I'm very sad that I made human beings. But the Lord was pleased with Noah. So it's like, those are comments that he's, feelings that he's experiencing. That experience appears to be incongruent with omniscience. Omniscience of the exact outcome, as opposed to omniscience of the potential outcomes. Because clearly he prepared for it. It said the lamb was slain from the foundation of the world. So you make your plan and you say, well, if this goes bad, we have this plan and we prepared for it should it go bad, right? But there's still hopefulness that it will go right. Right? Not a confirmed expectation that it will go bad and go this bad. This seems to have been worse than they anticipated, or not a certain expectation. It was a
maybe
prepared for it appears to be a prepared for expectation, but not a certain one. Appearance because of the response.
Maybe.
I do that all the time. So tell me more about that, maybe.
Sure. I think of situations where in life, and I'm sure we've all been there. I know I've been there because I'm much smarter than the rest of my family. Where you see something coming down the pipe. You know how this thing is going to play out. And even though you know how it's going to play out, when it plays out the way you saw that was going to play out, like there's still emotions there, right? It was like, I just wish you would have, dang.
Yeah, I wish you would have. But I wish I didn't, right? Well, I'm sorry that I did. His comment wasn't about them, it was about him.
But I'm only saying that from the perspective of I don't really control a whole lot, right? I can only, as much as I saw, right, or as I thought I saw what would happen because of experience and all these different things, right? I couldn't have controlled and told anybody like this was definitively going to happen, right? So I think there also is. So I'm just looking at it from just that perspective, like of the fact that there are emotions tied to it, right? They're just go ahead, Lorraine.
No, so like, does all knowing means you know ahead of time? Like, what I mean is like, so my perception of omniscience is the fact that he is outside of time, right? So he can see the full thing. But I feel like he could also be present. Like, like it's like you can see the glimpse you're outside of time, so you can see all the things, but you don't see your things till you do your thing. If that makes sense.
No.
Like even with Jesus, when Jesus was in the garden and he was like, if this is possible, that like what do you mean if it is possible that it could pass? Like either it can be passed or it can't. You would have known this from the beginning. You would have known it can't pass. You would have known you have to die. You would have known. You see what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like you can, and I don't know if this is faulty concept, but I feel like he can be present in time and out of time. So in time, he's sorry because it's happening in that moment, but he's also outside of time where he already knows these fools are
So
gonna be out.
I think that's where I'm landing, where it becomes, I think there are emotions, right? And so I don't necessarily look at Jesus in that time in the garden where he is like being 100% logical about this thing. I think that there are just emotions that are coming on. It's like, dude, like this joint sucks. Like if there's any way we can we can change the plan, right? If there's any way that we can find a way where we don't do this, because you know, it was all good when it was just a conceptual plan and I saw it, right? It was now it's actually I'm actually feeling the pain of this. I'm actually going through the emotion, like all of that's going through him now, and it's it's I had a friend of mine that just told me about, that I found out that he had testicular cancer, right? And, I was listening to some of his posts beforehand. It was very positive. Then, like, when it actually starts, it's like you already know you're going through it, right? You know you're taking the chemo. You know you made the decision to do all this kind of stuff, but it's a different when you're in the middle of it, right? When you're on day 35, 36, 37, and you're sick, like it's a different feeling. Like, yes, you knew this was going to happen. You knew day 65 when the last day of chemo was going to happen. Like, but on day 35, it's hard to feel. It's hard to have that same optimism, right? You kind of just, and I think that's just natural emotions. And so, I think that this is if we're made and created in His image, then I think this is part of like he's showing us his image, a portion of it, right? And so I think emotions come out. I think regrets come out. I think 100%. I think God logically knew that this was going to happen. I think He logically knew it had to happen this way. I think He logically knew all those things. It still comes up as like, you know, maybe I shouldn't have done it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there's a better way. Maybe there's a better way to do this, right? I hate that I did this, right? Because it really sucks right now, right? Seeing my created make these decisions, right? Even though I knew they were going to make it, when they're making it in real time, it's watching domestic violence, headlines on the news, and then actually seeing the video of Ray Rice, right? It's like we knew what it looked like. We heard, we had the idea what it was, but when you actually see it, it's just a different emotion that comes out. That's the way I see it, if that makes sense.
So I'm following the logic, but even in this logic, even with the example, which kind of makes sense, the idea of seeing it and not seeing it, there's still that, well, I didn't know it would be like this element that's creating that feeling. That's a part and parcel of it. You can't almost separate that. Like I use the illustration of, and so I'm gonna take Batman's comment, and then Chevy sitting here and sharing some stuff here. I'm gonna pull it in a second, but how I'm looking at God's response to His actions.
Mm-hmm.
I understand us not knowing what we're going to do and the choices we're going to make. Him maybe even knowing the choices and knowing the outcomes or the potential outcomes and not saying anything and watching us do what we don't know. But I'm responding to him, not his. I'm responding to, and I'm wrestling with his actions and his response to his actions, not ours, right?
Correct.
And so I use this example with Jerry. And he did offer something that I could potentially make sense of, but I didn't fully embrace it and go, aha, that's it, right? So I'm still wrestling a little bit. If I know when I leave the house today, I'm going to get in an accident and break my leg,
Mm-hmm.
so that to be the outcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
I get in the accident. Do I say, man, I wish I stayed home today? Or am I saying, man, this hurt real bad? Like, how I show up when I know the outcome is different. And I think about Jesus, you know, when he wasn't caught off guard when Judas betrayed him because how he responded in that moment reflected the prior knowledge of this thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I know there's a chance I could get in an accident, right? And I'm taking a chance, hopeful that I don't get in an accident. And I'm prepared in case I do get in an accident. When I do get in the accident and the accident is worse than I thought it was going to be, or it hurt more than I could have envisioned, that's when I'm starting to say, man, I wish I'd stay home today. Right?
Okay. I hear you.
And
I
so
think
that's where the hopefulness suggests not uncertainty, but
So it sounds like degree of.
leaving room for it to go one either way.
It sounds like you're arguing like degree of, right? You didn't think it was going to hurt as bad. So is it as a question of God didn't know that it
No,
was
I
gonna it
maybe
was
I
gonna
should not have included that in there. I is one, I know I'm going to be in an accident, and then there's a chance I'm gonna be in an accident. Forget the degree of the accident.
the thanks I'm gonna be in an accident?
I think I'm going to be in an accident.
Oh.
Right? No, there's a chance I can be in an accident. An accident is a real possibility here. If I leave home today, there's a chance I could get in an accident.
But that's not but God knows there's going to be an accident.
Right. And if I know I'm
think
going
it's
to be in an
still
accident, do I say, man, I wish I'd stay home today? If I know I'm going to be in an accident.
I think we've seen Jesus in his responses all through the Bible. Like you look at Lazarus, right? He knew Lazarus was going to die, but he still wept for his friend, right? I you know, you know, as my as my my kids remind me they believe I'm on the spectrum. And like they chat
Why?
they chat GBT'd it and put all my like different characteristics in, and it gave them an answer I wasn't comfortable with. But whatever.
Yeah, because Chop just can't handle you. That's all it is.
It wasn't trained on data like you.
Correct.
Bias. It need more data to include.
But like that, like the fact that he knows is like I believe that logic and knowing can only go so far. And I repeat what I said before. Like if we're created in this image, like there are things there that no matter what happens, like there are emotions there. Like
Absolutely.
there are things that you know. So there are situations where I'm I'm certain in certain situations that certain things are going to happen. When I'm, I can have all the faith in the world, and maybe that's not all the faith in the world, maybe it's not. But when I see a friend of mine laying on their deathbed, I kind of know how this thing's playing out,
Right.
right? And even though you know how it's playing out, you're still sad when it happens,
Okay.
right? And granted, you didn't do it, and I understand that that's the difference. But I think there's still emotions on, like, when it comes to, things are going to play out a certain way, yet as they're playing out, you still feel it. I think I see the way. I think
Is
that's where
regret one of those things?
was that again?
Is regret one of those things? Sorrow,
Regret,
yeah, sorrow, grief, all other things.
I think regret can be an emotion. Absolutely. It
No,
can be.
yes, it is an emotion, but is it an emotion tied to certainty? Regret seems to be an emotion that's tied to uncertainty, is my point.
I don't know if
No,
regret's tied to uncertainty. Sorry, go ahead, Lorraine.
no, I was like, I think it can be tied to certainty because, like, I mean, he's saying, okay, he's looking at the extent of the world. He's saying, I'm sorry I ever made them. It broke his heart. He's like, I will wipe them out. Like, he's sorry. He knows what he knows, but he also knows he had to let it play out. Like, it has to play out. No matter what. Whether you know the end or not, it has to play out. And so it's like, now I'm here in the moment and I have to wipe it all out. I gotta clear the slate. Like, and this hurts me. And I'm sorry. But I have to let it play out. The story has to continue.
But that's not what he's sorry for, though. See, that's the thing. He is sorry,
he's
but he's not sorry
he ever made them and put them on.
He's sorry he made them. He's sorry
right,
about
but why is he sorry? Because he's gonna have to wipe them out.
Because they messed up, and so now
he has to destroy the thing he created.
But he's not sorry he has to destroy them. He's sorry he made them. I'm just that's where the tension is for me. But let me take these two comments and then come back.
Okay.
This is the point we often miss. It's something we can never fathom. He's all knowing, but he still gives us the opportunity to choose. I agreed. These discussions is what the devil is trying to use against us, because we often have to wonder, but we don't. It is what it is, and only by God's grace we are saved. And then we should never take that for granted. It's about faith. He wept because he was both man and God. Was he man at the time in creation story, Genesis 6? But I feel he has emotions of man and God, so I'm going to receive it that way. He waited that time to show a higher difference from just doing a miracle and healing versus a miracle raising the dead. Oh, I could see that. Batman says, doesn't free will play a part in allowing for hopeful change in the plan? Yes, absolutely. But disappointment, despite your gentle nudging, they still mess up. Yes, absolutely.
So Jared, is your hang up the fact that he knows yet he feels when it goes the way he knows it is going to go?
No, not his feeling. It's
okay.
These are two very different situations, two very different circumstances, right? And I'm just saying the responses, the recorded commentary of his words doesn't align with somebody who knows what's happening, who's certain about the outcome. It aligns with someone who's responding to uncertainty. And that's what's tripping me up.
So how would you expect it to play out then? And given the situation, right? So, and run through all the scenarios.
So
right?
how would you play it through? One.
Yep.
If I know they're going to mess up, not if there's a chance they're going to mess up, right? This scenario, what is recorded in the Bible makes sense. Man, I'm sorry I did this, because I knew that there was a chance this was going to happen, right? they could have been faithful, it would have ended up a whole nother way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was hoping that that is the way that they would have chosen, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I took a chance that they would go this way, and they've chosen this way that I knew was a real possibility. And that to me would lead to something like regret. If I know that this is definitely where they're going to go from the beginning, I'm like, all right, well, this is what I expected. Now we have to go to the next thing, and there's not, a sorry, not regret.
Jared, just one thing. I feel like I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like we're also trying to um, box in a very complex and nuanced God into how we think we would see or respond to a situation. And, he's evidently just very different to us. I go back to the example of even if you know a loved one is going to die, you when you experience it, you're going to be sorry for the things you said, didn't say, didn't do. They're just going to be sorry they suffered, sorry they go on, although they're no longer suffering. I mean, I think there's just a whole gambit of emotions you can go through, and he's probably trying to express it to us in a way that we would understand or that would resonate with us.
Okay.
I again,
Perhaps.
musings, because I really can't.
Perhaps.
The
Yeah,
language on the face of it does not seem to suggest or align to the concept of omniscience
as we understand it.
as we understand it. So this is me coming up with what could be, I'm postulating what could be, because it, like I said, on the face it is like that's like if let's use something positive, right? Because it gets murky when we say something. But if I tell you, hey, the mega ball lottery is rigged. Here's how we rigged it. Here are the winning numbers. I guarantee you're getting this, whatever it is, $1 billion, whatever. And you will get the $1 billion. You'd be like, well, yeah. And you already have your plan in place to, make sure none of your relatives know, because then they start hitting you up for money, whatever, right?
I'm not surprised.
You're not surprised, but are you elated?
Elated, yes, but I'm not surprised. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm delineating between sorry and sorrowful.
Yeah,
Right?
the language suggests like, my goodness, right?
Yes, but so let me ask you a question. Is the feeling of elation going to be different than the feeling that you had when you were surprised?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Elation is elation.
Well,
They're not gonna the surprise isn't gonna make it you being surprised isn't gonna make it feel any better or worse than you being elated. You are elated.
Kendrick,
You're excited
I don't know. I
about
mean,
it.
Kendrick,
it would be different. It would be
No,
different.
it won't.
no, it's like if you did a really good job on our project, and your partners on the project just decided, you know what, Kendrick's really been doing us so solid. Let's just give him a $10 million bonus. You had no clue it was coming. That's a different elation than, yeah, if I close this project, I'm gonna get the 10 million. There's just something.
It's more heightened when you didn't see it coming.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I like how you said that. It's more hype when you didn't see it coming.
When you didn't see it coming.
I'm not sure is going to feel different. I'm not sure there's going to be like elation 2.0. Like elation is going to be elation. That $10 million is going to feel
right, but there's levels. But there's levels.
Is it?
Yeah, there's levels.
That's why, like I said, I'm just trying to postulate what he could mean, what it could be, because again, just looking at the language, it's muddy.
Because it's like anger is anger. No, there's levels. There's levels to
anger. Oh yeah, for sure.
There's levels.
And it's not just the elation. It's the elation. I think elation mixed with surprise is different from elation mixed with certainty. Like it's not elation by itself. It's not standalone elation that's covering everything. It's elation mixed with, it's rum and coke versus rum and Sprite. It's two different experiences.
No, stop that.
Of all the examples,
Stop.
man.
Stop.
My point is, it's a
Yeah.
different mixture. That was my only point, right? That was my only point. Different mixture. And so it works out
I
to be
don't know.
something.
I can't get there. But I hear you.
Batman says, I will make man in my image, but I know they will rebel. But I cannot create them because my character has been called into question. I cannot not create them because my character has been called into question. I must allow this to play out despite my disappointment. Because more is at stake, even through my frustrations. Remember, they are special like no other. I receive that. But even that sentiment suggests certainty, right?
So let me ask you. So where does this? So why is this? Why is this unsettling to you? Is this just a question, just a feel? Like what is it? What is it about it that
I was
becomes?
trying to reconcile this language as written with
Mm-hmm.
my notion of omniscience. I was just trying to reconcile it because I do believe. So there's a tension in me. I believe God is all knowing, right? And there's lots
Mm-hmm.
of examples of that. But there are also these little things where he's attributed to saying and responding in ways that suggest that he didn't know for sure, right? And so I'm trying to just make that all make sense and make it consistent,
Gotcha.
you know, because I believe these two things are true. I just don't see how they're connected right here, and I'm trying to
Understood.
process it to make the connection,
Understood. Okay.
He can
to
be
know
in.
how a omniscient God could feel sorry,
Mhm.
right? To know how an omniscient God would use words like, "I hope that you would do this," as opposed to, oh, there's a chance that they will. Because when you think about it, even his whole actions with the children of Israel in sending the prophets repeatedly, it was in the hopes that they would change,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
It wasn't just to say, I did my due diligence. His
Mhm.
repeated expression is, I want you to be different. Please be different.
Mhm.
Be different, please. And I'm doing everything I can to facilitate you being different. I'm telling you what will happen. I'm giving you these consequences. I give you a taste of it. Please be different. I mean, he gave Nineveh 40 days to change, right? Now, what if they didn't? He would have, be faithful to his word and did it. So, like, there's a
Could
knowledge of the potential outcomes.
I
could it also be so in these situations? So let's take the in Genesis 6, he regretted he made man win.
When he made human beings. So, when he made Adam and Eve, uh, the way it's written, it suggests that he's saying, I am sorry I made human beings, all of them, all together. He made human beings in Genesis 2 when he created Adam and Eve. So that'll be the idea of human beings, making human beings. I'm sorry about that. Because that's the way it's written here. I'm very sad that I've made human beings.
He had ever made them and put them on the earth. It
Yeah.
broke his heart.
Yeah.
I still stand on. I think he's able to be in and out of time at the same time. In
Okay.
time, you see the real life reactions and thoughts and feelings and all the things, while also being out of time where he's already been here before. Like I've been here. I know what happened. Like
So Chevy is saying, come on, Chevy, come on the other side. He said he feels sorry because he's a loving God, so he gives us a chance. I want to be clear that the scripture is not saying that he's feeling sorry, just he's experiencing sorrow. He's sorry, he's regretting, because we're using
creating,
the word sorry, but the
creating.
word that is listed there is Oh, where did it go? Nokam, which means to be sorry, to console oneself, to repent, to regret, to comfort or be comforted. To be sorry, to rue, to suffer, to grieve, to repent. Some versions have repent, some versions have regret, some versions have sorry. So, but it's that combo of idea, right? That he made man and put them on the earth. He's not just experienced, and he said, and his heart was filled with great pain. So he's regretting his action.
Correct.
That's where the incongruence sits for me. And so I was just trying to, just to be clear, all I'm trying to do is reconcile it. Saying this is true, he experienced this, but he's also omniscient. Make it make sense. Connect it for me. That's what I'm saying. I'm not challenging his omniscience at all.
Correct. Yeah. There's nothing else I can say because I don't have anything else.
Okay. And that's fine. Jerry, your daddy never gave you one of them things before he.
Not to this one. Not to this one. There were some similar questions I would ask him along the line of, why would God say things or respond to things in a way that seem to be incongruent with his omniscience and stuff? He basically would say to me, I can't box God into my level of understanding. Some things are,
Which is why my framing is I'm just trying to make it, because I'm not trying to say God is or isn't anything. I'm boxing. I'm just trying to see if I could
kind of make sense of it. Yeah.
Make sense of it. Yeah.
Because here's the funny thing. And this is one of the reasons the discussion itself is really good. We will get asked questions by people who may not be believers. Because those are the things that, if you're just in the land of in-betweenity, you read those things and you're like,
So, okay. Okay, so I'm still stuck on my in and out of time. So, like, let's say you're going through, we know God knows beginning from end, and you're going through whatever it is you're facing in your life right now. Do you believe that God feels for you in that moment and what you're enduring and what you're dealing with? Even though he knows in the end, you're gonna make it to the pearly gates, blah blah blah, da da da, all this stuff's gonna happen, yada yada yada. You believe in that moment he still has feelings and emotions and all the things about you while you're handling what you're handling.
Yes, I believe he could have those emotions.
No, that's not what she asked.
Okay, then help me.
Does he have those emotions?
Does he have which emotions? So let's be specific. Which emotions does he have? Does he have emotions? Sure. Which emotions?
No, she was very specific in how she asked her question.
All right, let's go again.
So we know that God knows beginning from end.
Okay.
If for us today, whatever things we're facing right now in our lives, do we believe that God has feelings, thoughts, whatever about what we're enduring, unrelated to the fact that he knows how the thing's going to end down the line? If whatever the thing I'm dealing with is heavy and he's like, man, I'm sorry that she's dealing with this, or do you feel like he has those kinds of emotions while he's present with me in my stuff?
Sometimes. Because I think about Job. I think about Paul. I think about even Jeremiah, where they was experiencing them things, and he's like, "Hey, gather yourself, get yourself together." And he didn't. He wasn't expressing that level of empathy. And,
right. No. That's
well,
fair.
Well, Well, that was documented. That was worthy of him documenting that it was.
Right. So I'm saying based on the documentation, there's some instances where it is and some instances where it's not. So I take
Correct.
context.
Okay.
So in the moments where he did it indicate a lack of certainty of the beginning or end? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like in stories where he did show those things, like why is he showing it? He already knows, like at the end this is gonna happen. The fact that he's showing the thoughts, the feelings, or whatever in that present moment, does that negate the fact that he knows what's gonna happen?
That is a tricky question because a lot of those things are contextual, and I'm gonna give you this one example.
Right. They are.
And this is why I'm talking about his response, right? Like, so Jesus wasn't sad that Lazarus died.
He wasn't sad.
No, he was sad about and frustrated about how the people responded. And you read it you can read it. You read his response. He was frustrated and he wasn't sad that he was dead because he told the disciples. He told the disciples he wasn't going to go. Right?
I'm not sure I agree with that one, but okay.
Well, but we could go to it and we could read it. But like when Mary runs up to him and says, "If you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died." Jesus wasn't like, "Oh man, I'm sorry he died."
No. But despite the emotion, despite why he's sorry, he's bothered by the fact that they're responding to him, right?
But Jared, wasn't there somewhere where it said he cried?
No.
When they came and told him he passed, didn't he? Man, I'm pretty sure.
Well, I don't want to get stuck on emotions or why. I'm saying
that's the basis of it, right?
Okay.
So your emotions are tied to the nature of emotions, like anger, sadness, is tied to what you think or feel about and understand about a certain thing, right? If I believe you intended to hurt me, I have a different emotion than if it was an accident, right? Same action, same circumstance. The emotion I experience is tied to my thought process around it,
around your motives,
right, or just my understanding of what's going on. Right? And so and that's why, looking at even like how Jesus responded to Lazarus, right? All his responses indicated somebody who knew what was happening. His delay, you look at his actions, his response to the thing.
100%.
It didn't catch him by surprise. It wasn't one of those, there's a chance he might die.
No, I get that, but then it says he was still moved deeply, and shortest verse in Bible, Jesus wept.
Let's go to that verse. Tell me what verse it is again.
John 11, 33 to 35. Jesus was deeply moved in spirit and troubled, especially when he saw Mary and the mourners weeping. Sorry?
John 11 what?
33 to 35. And then it said Jesus wept.
Which one has him being deeply moved? Just that verse.
Just that one.
So it says
33.
John 11, 33?
Yeah. It seems so. One sec. My uncle chatted it, so I'm gonna pull it up now.
Yeah. So the word here, the King James Version says he groaned in the spirit.
Yeah. Well, yeah, this New International says here.
And it was expressed indignation.
Right. So this one says he was deeply moved in the spirit and troubled and asked, "Where have you laid him?" They said, "Come and see," they replied. And then it says in 35, Jesus wept.
Right.
Correct.
Deeply moved was not sadness. It was embro.
Mine said deep anger.
Correct. Because what's written there is embremoi, whoever that word is.
But
to have indignation.
But they're two separate situations that happen. Right?
Yes.
There was a situation with Mary, right? And then he saw everybody, right? And deep anger. So 32, when Mary arrived and saw Jesus, she fell at his feet and said, "Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping and saw the other people wailing with her, a deep anger welled within him, and he was deeply troubled. Correct. "Where have you put him?" he asked him. Then, so they told him, Lord, come and see. Then Jesus wept. The weeping is not necessarily tied to the fact that he was angry, right? The weeping can be tied, and I'm not saying, it's a little ambiguous,
Yeah.
right? The way it is, but the then is a transition and shows like a different time, right? A different part of the story of this transition. And so it says, then Jesus wept, right?
So that is a reasonable explanation, except it ignores all that went before and after, and the context in which all of this is happening. It starts with they sending word to Jesus that Lazarus is sick. Yeah?
Yep.
Jesus chooses to stay and wait for the man to die. Then
That's fulfill prophecy, right?
no, because and that's my point. That's
So
exactly
he
my
knows
point.
what's going to happen, but he's still sad.
But he didn't show up sad because he knew he's about to raise him from the dead. If I'm going to raise you from the dead, I'm not sad.
Yeah, well, he's still sad at the loss of him, and that others are suffering or mourning his loss.
But he was not sad that they,
things that play.
Maybe he was sad. I would agree. If he's sad that they are responding the way that they are, I'm with you. If he's sad that he died, that's a whole different sadness. And he's not sad that they died. He's sad that these people are carrying on the way that they are, and now I have to go and do this thing to show them what's really going on.
So I think there are a couple things.
I think we're making inferences either way, right?
No, and here's why I'm not.
I think there's go ahead.
Here's why I'm not. Let's go to 21, right? Let's go to 11 because you see it in all the interactions Jesus had in each interaction as he goes along. Right? In verse 11, after he said this, Jesus went on speaking with them. Our friend Lazarus has fallen asleep, he said, but I am going there to wake him up. So he's leaving here with an understanding of what's going to happen when he gets there. Right. And he uses the term sleep. He doesn't even call it death. Nobody don't cry. Nobody don't be sad because somebody went to sleep. Right? So, and he has this full awareness leaving. Right? His disciple says, well, Lord, if he's sleeping, he'll get better. Jesus had been speaking about the death of Lazarus, but his disciples thought he was talking about natural sleep. So he told them plainly, Lazarus is dead, but for your benefit, I was glad I was not there. Now you will believe, but let us go to him. Right? So he's already kind of turned to, these people don't get it. They're not getting it. Right? And I'm going there to do this to help them to get it. So, and his frame of mind heading there is sleep. Death, but not the significant death, not the ending death. The death is like a sleep that you will wake up from, right? Thomas says something stupid. We're moving on from that, right? So you arrive at the tomb. He arrives at the area. Mary heard that Jesus was coming, and she went out to meet him. Martha and Mary heard Mary is coming. Mary, stay home. The Lord, Martha says to Jesus, I wish you had been here. Then my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you anything you ask for. Jesus says to her, your brother will rise again. So he's already in the headspace of I'm not in the place where you are, because he's the first thing he says out of his mouth to her is, your brother will rise again. She's like, yeah, I know he'll arise in the resurrection in the last day or whatever. Jesus then goes on to say that, but I am the resurrection and the life. Anyone who believes in me will live even after they die. Don't you believe this? So he's not in a place of sadness because of Lazarus' death. And he wasn't even, because at the whole time he hasn't been in that space.
I don't disagree with you.
So my point is, I'm not drawing inferences about his sadness and his weeping, because it's building. The writer of this is building and showing how he's interacting with the individuals, right? So they move on from there. Mary comes. She comes and says the same thing. Jesus saw her crying. Verse 33 in my version says, Jesus saw her crying. He saw that the Jews who had come along were crying also. This version says the spirit became very sad and he was troubled. But the word there doesn't talk about sadness, it talks about indignation. So he became
Agreed.
troubled there.
Agreed.
And so he goes to do something about it.
No, and then what happens after that?
He cries. And the Jews inferred that it was about his love for him.
Correct. What I'm saying, I think what I'm saying is that I'm not sure that he cried because he was annoyed and angry at what the people were saying and doing and how they were acting. I'm saying that because of the way it transitioned and the words that were used, right? And I can't say definitively, right? Either way, but it seems to be that the wept or the crying was because of the emotions that came with the situation, right?
That came with the situation. Tell me more.
So you have I'm gonna say this, and I'm not sure. I'm coming from my perspective. I'm not sure I have been angry enough to where I wept.
I have.
Right? I've been hurt. Well, I still haven't wept. I don't think I've ever wept in my life, but whatever. Like, I think someone can be hurt, right? And feel emotions based upon what they're seeing, what they're experiencing, all that. To weep because of anger, I think is another level. And I'm not sure that I see that here.
So to be fair to you, it said he was indignant and troubled. And the word that is troubled here was distressed.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a joint set of emotions, right? And the disciples, and if you look at the what's happening, what the writer is saying, the disciples are talking about, well, if he's sleeping, we'll wake him up. They didn't get it. Martha is, not realizing who he is and didn't get it. The disciples around are talking about, couldn't he have kept him from dying? And the next verse is, he came, verse 38. What does verse 38 say in your version there, Kenrick?
Jesus was still angry as he arrived at the tomb,
Right.
a cave
So,
with the stone.
So the very next verse after his emotion says that he was still angry. So it wasn't a cry of sadness. And then he goes on to say, his first words is, didn't I tell you that if you believe, you will see God's glory? Because he's coming up close to the crucifixion. And here these people did not getting it. And so he almost has to, he said, Father, I thank you for hearing me. I know that you always heard me, but I say this for the benefit of the people that they believed. And then he called Lazarus up, because all the people who even close to him, they're mourning like something, like they don't really grasp what's happening. And that's what's driving his frustration, his sadness, if there's sadness, his anger, his distress. The Bible is using the words distress and indignation. But that's what's driving it. And I could say, if my children not getting what I say to them, and I feel like, what is going on here? I could get to that place where that could drive me to tears if I'm emotional enough. And so, either way, to the point that we were talking about before, just to kind of keep it connected, his whole response indicates knowledge of what's happening, certainty. He's responding as a person who's certain.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why there was, for me, incongruence in Genesis and Jeremiah, because the response suggested uncertainty. Like hopeful has an element of uncertainty in it. To have hope, you can't be sure. You are confident, but you're doing it without certainty.
Correct, but I don't think he's doing it without certainty. So once again, back in Jeremiah, it didn't seem like that
And I
was
received
that fell into that line.
That may be for Jeremiah. He might have been using them words for Jeremiah. I received that, right? I understand why it initially would have made me feel, like what's happening here, because
Yeah.
those are the
Yeah.
words
I
of
don't know.
someone. That's not the expression of someone who's certain. And you see it here with Jesus. When he, in a place where he's certain, his language is different. But you're right. He might have just been talking to Jeremiah to motivate him. So,
Yeah, I think on Jeremiah, I think it seems like that was just a conversation with Jeremiah.
mhm.
I'm trying to think on the regret.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything different than what I've said, so I won't say it again.
Cool.
But I hope you understand that by and by.
Here's what I'm going to walk away from this conversation with from. God is omniscient, and these things look the way that they do. I don't fully understand it, but I'm still trusting that He is omniscient. Um, and it's not something I could necessarily explain to someone else. It's just something I'm going to take on faith in spite of the way this looks. It's not something I can reason, ration, and nothing about this conversation is going to make me believe He is not omniscient. I just
Yeah.
would like to understand, to be able to reconcile it. Um, you know, make it make sense. This is just kind of where I was. So,
Yeah.
and this is one of those things I'm going to choose to trust. So yeah. All right. Anything else? Sorry, let me ask it that way. I said it the wrong way. Anybody had another thing that they wanted to talk about? Not anything else about this. Any other insights that anybody had from the reading? Any other things that they wrestled with?
I'm going through my notes and see what I got.
Why are you looking? I saw something in Kenrick's favorite book, Psalm
Oh
49.
Lord. Oh boy.
Psalm
Oh
49,
Lord.
verses 7 to 9. Jerry, read it in whatever version you regularly read. If that's King James, read that. If you read NIV, read that. If you read ESV, read that. Whatever your
I
standard
was
reading,
being said. Give me
Psalm
that.
49, what?
7 to 9.
Psalm 49.
I didn't even know there was still a Psalms.
You want me to read or Kenrick?
No, I want you to read in whatever version you typically read in.
Oh yeah, that's usually ESV. 1 second. Hi, why are you? Right. Truly no man can ransom another or give to God the price of his life, for the ransom of their life is costly and can never suffice, that he should live on forever and never see the pit.
Lauren, you have NLT there?
Sorry, what verse are we reading?
49, Psalm 49, 7 to 9.
Yeah.
49, 7 to 9. Sorry, my brain went down a rabbit hole. 49, 7 to 9. Says, yet they, you said 49, 7 to 9, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yet they cannot redeem themselves from death by paying a ransom to God. Redemption does not come so easily, for no one can ever pay enough to live forever and never see the grave.
I don't know where I have been my whole life, and I've read this multiple times, but something about this NIRV version, I never realized that there was just this explicit reference to the cost of a human life. We talk about it all the time, but I've never actually seen seen it be this, explicit. The NIRV says no one can pay for the life of anyone else. No one can give God what that would cost. The price of a life is very high. No payment is ever enough. No one can pay enough to live forever and not rot in the grave. That that hit me different than those other versions, which I probably read before, and I just kind of skipped over it because yeah, okay. But like this one made me reflect on, you know, this Old Testament talking about the cost of a life, right? And what it costs to live forever. And to think about what Jesus has paid and earned that for how many billion people, Jerry?
What was the number we came up with? It was 80 something billion. Lived or
Plenty
died?
billion. Plenty
Huh?
billion.
Plenty billion, yeah.
And he's paid that price for that many people. You know how much money that is? Like, let's just say if you had to put a dollar amount on a single life.
I like the way he phrased it, because if we I mean, most of us still try to attain righteousness by works, right? So if you're trying to pay the ransom for your life, you could be Mr. Bezos or whoever at 500 billion. Not enough, and that's just for one.
Yeah. So I just seeing it here in that light just kind of put it in a whole different light, and I was like, oh wow, it's pretty explicit. I wish it was referenced more.
Yeah.
When we talk about the significance of what Jesus has done, this verse would be a handy little, reference to expound and put it in context.
Isn't it interesting though, the way we belittle the lives of our fellow men, especially those who don't agree with us or look like us or part of our in group. And in so doing, it's like we are belittling the price that was paid. Because I know at the end of the day, not everybody's a son and daughter of God. Everybody's an image bearer, though, right?
Correct.
And if you believe and follow him, then you become a son and daughter. But image bearer, son and daughter, a price was paid to give both of you all the opportunity. So you can't decide, well, because I believe I'm a believer, your life not worth as much.
The price was paid for the image bearer. The cost is for the image bearer, not
Correct.
for the son and daughter.
Yeah. The image bearer has now the opportunity to become a son and daughter because the price was paid.
But as an image bearer, even a faulty image bearer, I still commands the same price. Like the price is high for that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's just valuable.
Yeah. It's like this. There's this example. I can't remember, one of these actors or something did where he hands somebody a fresh $100 bill, and then he crumples up another one and hands it to somebody, and then there's another one, he stumps in a little bit of hand. It's still worth $100, right?
Yeah.
Regardless of the state it's in.
Correct. And I take in the crumple of one.
It was 100, and stacks on stacks on stacks. I don't care. But could you imagine how silly we would seem if we're like, nah, I'm not taking $100. I'm not valuing it unless it has a particular range of serial numbers on it. Or if it was, I'll only take it if it was printed on a particular day, we would seem pretty silly, right?
Or if it's still crisp.
I'll stay broke. Or brokey, because these $100 bills not crisp anymore. Crazy.
So yeah, that was the second thing that I had noticed there, that I thought I would share.
Yeah, I couldn't find my notes. I thought I had something, but I don't see it.
Okay. How about you, Lorraine?
I kind of remember it. I was trying to find it. So it was essentially like, it was like in the first 3 chapters, within the first 3 chapters of Jeremiah.
Mm-hmm.
And the thought that came to my mind was like, he was giving a description of, I don't know what he calls them. the people that were not his people, the ones who had idols made of wood and stone and so forth, so forth. And I remember reading one of the verses, and I was like, the thought was, it's so interesting the fidelity that people have to their whoever their god is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we we don't have that same level of fidelity. Like we are prostituting ourselves and going back and forth. And he's like, essentially when trouble start, like now you want to come to me. He's like, no, lean on that thing that you.
225. How much is that one?
Oh man.
And I was like, it's so crazy. Like
25 through 28.
you see it in our daily lives. Like you see the reverence people have, and I admire it. I'm like, man, like we're not we're not even like on that level. And I'm not saying everybody, but like as a whole, like there's a lot more consistency in certain groups than in others. It's a 25 to 28, chapter 2. When will you stop running? When will you stop running?
We had to read for all of us.
Oh, sorry, my bad. Because I don't know if this was it. Okay, but I'll read it.
I mean, if it's not, that's cool.
No, I could read it anyways. Jeremiah 2:25 to 28. You said, right? All right. When will you stop running? When will you stop panting after other gods? But you say, save your breath. I'm in love with these foreign gods, and I cannot stop loving them now.
Wow.
Israel is like a thief who feels shame only when it gets caught. They, their kings, officials, priests, prophets, all are alike in this. To an image carved from a piece of wood, they say, you are my father. To an idol chiseled from a block of stone, they say, you are my mother. They turn their backs on me, but in times of trouble, they cry out to me, come and save us. But why not call on those gods you have made? When troubles come, let them save you if they can. For you have as many gods as there are towns in Judah. Yeah.
Savage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Irony about that.
It's true.
Well, yes, because it is true, but because the idols are carved out of wood and stone, the god is really whoever is setting the theology of the god, which is themselves. They are essentially the gods.
And they realize they can't do nothing, so they like, oh God.
Now that we realize we cannot help ourselves, we can't save ourselves. Could you step in, hook us up?
But it's like even outside of that, like when I consider different cultures and different groups, like even if they can't save themselves, they stay. You know what I'm saying? Like even regardless of the situation or the thing, they stay. They don't leave. I mean, obviously not everybody, but
leave what?
Like their faith, their belief, their God, their whatever, like they stay. Come what may, they stay. While we tiptoe with whichever one makes us feel how we want to feel and gives us the answer we want to hear. And like it's a gem today or a pearl tomorrow or your job the next day or your friend this day or your spouse that day or like whatever it is that you feel is going to give you what you're desiring, that's the one you. But when trouble comes, it's like, oh, you don't really care about me. I need to find another God over here somewhere.
Yeah, I'm. I wonder. So I kind of see things a little differently. I wonder if people actually move back and forth between their ideas of gods, or they kind of operate like we operate with God.
What do you mean? How we operate by God, like God?
Well, I believe in God, and I
Mhm.
believe God knows what's best for me, right?
Okay.
So there's sometimes I pray for things, and those things don't come about. And my belief is that, you know, they didn't come about because of a couple different things. Maybe there's something within me that I'm not ready for, that's impure, whatever it is. It may just be it's not his time. And it's
Mhm.
not, it's not my time to receive it. Right. And I wonder if, when talking to people, um, if that's the kind of way they go about their lives with other things. Right. It's kind of like it, sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. Right. And it's not, I wonder if it's really like, do people really move back and forth, or they kind of just
Okay.
relinquish, you know, it is what it is, right? And this isn't just my time. Maybe I need to try something different. And trying something different doesn't mean going to a different guy. Maybe it's like, all right, maybe I need to go back to the drawing board and say, maybe I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing in order to achieve this particular objective. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Um,
We trying to solve
both,
problems, and some of us we stick with the strategies we know to solve the problem, and others we explore other avenues.
yeah, like, there are situations I go like that I encounter, and me and Jill were having this conversation the other day, and I was just like, I'm not sure how this works out. And I was like, but what I do know is that God already knows how it works out, right? So I'm gonna let Him figure this out because I can't do anything about it, right? If I didn't believe in God
Mhm.
in that situation, I may have tried 27 different things,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? And maybe one of those 27 things worked out,
Mhm.
right? And it got what I needed to get, or for
Mhm.
whatever I needed. It may not have been as much as I would have gotten, whatever. It
Mhm.
achieved whatever I felt was the objective,
Mhm.
right? Um, and so I think that's how people kind of navigate, especially these days. I would assume,
Mhm. Mhm.
Even in the
where
Bible,
it's going to be. Was that
I say even in the Bible, there was a king, the one who get foot disease. That's exactly his story,
correct?
and he
And
didn't have any
so,
options. He trusts God, and God worked it out. But then he had an option, and it worked out, so he didn't need to trust God.
right. And I wonder if that's, because I just run into a lot of people we have conversations with. They've done very well. Um, and I'm saying very well monetarily, right? Where they don't believe that that belief in God isn't really there. There's more belief in who they are, in their ability, and the fact that they can figure things out,
Mhm.
right? And for them, they have, based upon their perspective and their reality, they've figured it out,
Mhm.
right? And it's gotten them to where they are.
Mhm.
Um, and so I wonder, and in that situation, that's what I was saying. Like, I'm not sure they go back and they try this God or try this God or try this. Their belief is in like just the God of figuring it out. Like, we're gonna do whatever we got to do to make this work, and there's 1,000 different levers I got to pull, right?
Mhm.
And it may be in all 1,000 different combinations, but I'm gonna hit that combination at some point,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
and that combination is gonna get me what I want. And sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Some people just believe in bush tea.
Some
Anything
people just
happen,
believe
it's
in
bush
bullshit.
tea. And sometimes it's work, and sometimes you just drink
Yeah,
more bush tea. He
yeah.
ain't picking up bush
Correct.
tea yet. keep drinking it.
Facts.
Crazy.
I'm
Facts.
going like this tea and work today. Bring some orange peel. No, try that. Give it. Take some aspirin. No, try. Then other people is like, which tea is it?
Yeah, but I feel like I guess the hopping I'm describing is more so like each group of belief has their own requirements, right? Not all of them say you
Mhm.
can't have no other gods. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Mhm.
so you can flip like you can have 10 of them if you want to. You can line them up. You can color them. You can shape them. You can do whatever.
The more gods you have, the
But
more
whatever,
chance to get what you want.
right? But whatever the requirement is, they stick to the requirement and then do what's and then only operate in what's allowed based on their beliefs, right?
Mhm.
Right.
But then for us, it's like we know our requirements. We know what is expected of us. We're like, yeah, but this is not really. So it's more. I guess it's more obvious for us because it seems more restrictive. Ours seems more restrictive per se. Like you can't mingle. You're not supposed to be mingling. You're not supposed to be trying things out. Like like it's me and only me, or just go out there and do what you're gonna do. Don't do this with me. Like
Mhm.
either
Mhm.
for me or you're not for me. There's no gray area. There's no nothing. And I find that we are more likely to step outside the bounds of our beliefs, while others are more, no, this is what we do. This is
Rigid
what,
belief.
yeah.
Hmm.
I do believe that is true for all of those spaces because I know some people who belong to who subscribe to other you know thought, you know
Hmm.
theologies, philosophies, who are
Hmm.
faithful to it, and then others who are like what you described
Right,
in
right,
Fateh, who
right,
a little
right.
bit more flexible.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
You
Hmm.
have the conservatives and the liberals and everything.
Right, right, right. Yeah. But I always admire that 'cause I'm like, man, like you do this every day. It's like, and I can't even, I can't even do whatever one simple thing that I'm supposed to do. Like, man. Mm.
I heard somebody say that sometimes it's tied to our perspective and perception of God, right? What we see and how we see him.
Hmm.
So for those who see him as more dogmatic, they might lean more on the because I remember when I was in the Middle East, I mean the 4 and 5 year olds who could recite a particular religious book from back to front, right? At four
Hmm.
and 5 years old. We grown and probably were it not for this, there are lots of parts of the Bible that we might
Think
never
we're just.
even touch. Yeah. So some people say it's because we've made a demigod out of grace,
Mm,
and we figure, God is chill. I think it Voltaire who said God created us in His image, and then we return the favor.
yes.
So we have all these
I don't know if it's him,
ideas,
but yes. Mhm.
ideas as to who and what God is, and we figure, Jesus is my homeboy. I don't need to be, I could flex. what I the reason I think one of the reasons the Bible says all scripture is given, right? Is because if you look comprehensively at the Bible, the Jesus in the Old Testament that will open up the floor, the ground, the earth, and swallow people for agreeing with people who did the wrong thing or feeling sorry for people who did the wrong thing. They didn't do anything wrong except that they had sympathy for the people who did something wrong. This is the same Jesus who came and died on the cross for your sins. And if
Mhm.
you don't appreciate the comprehensive nature of him, because the first thing he said about himself is what? He's a jealous God, right? Yeah, he full of mercy, long suffering, but first off,
Hmm. Right, right.
he about to put the whoop. Okay,
It's both and.
it's both and yeah.
I'm this and I'm that. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
asked Uncle Chat about our other conversation, and he seems to suggest that there is no incongruence. I'll just give you the summary takeaway.
really?
Mhm.
Okay.
It says both passages humanize God's interaction. Jeremiah emphasizes responsibility and the possibility of mercy. Genesis emphasizes God's relational grief over sin. Neither text undermines omniscience when read through the lens of classical theology. They illustrate how God communicates his holiness, justice, and mercy in time in ways humans can grasp. And there were a couple of interpretive lenses that they put a table to and whatever. How different people, different schools of thought have interpreted that dynamic. But they just kind of summarize it to, the text is written to reveal some things about God, not related to him, the Nicias, but related to other characteristics. And so it appears to be suggested that looking at it in the lens of omniscience misses what's being talked about in either one of those texts. Yeah. When talking about Jeremiah alone, it says Jeremiah 26:2 is not ultimately incongruent with omniscience. Instead, it shows God engaging with his people in covenant terms, blessing or curse. The conditional language is a way of underscoring moral responsibility and God's mercy. His omniscience encompasses all possible contingencies and the actual outcome, but he communicates in time to real people who must choose. Which kind of leans into where um, Lorraine was talking about. He operates outside of time and in time.
I really like that perspective, by the way, Lauren. Because really, time is a construct for us, right? So
There's a thing called anthropomorphic relational communication, which means God speaks in a way that people can understand. The if then is not about God lacking knowledge, but about giving humans genuine responsibility. It makes his warnings morally serious and underscores accountability.
Jared, could you paste that in the I wanted to make note of that. Paste it in the chat or in WhatsApp or something.
I will put it in this chat here first, and then I will grab it from there and put it in the other chat.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so
What were you putting in the other chat?
the same link to the exchange with ChatGPT.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, that's who you said. I was like, who said that?
What's that?
I was trying to figure out who you said that, and I was like, who said that? He
Yeah,
said
Uncle
Chat.
Chat. I refer to it as Uncle Chat.
Oh my gosh, Lord help us. Oh man.
All right, well, we almost at 10 o'clock. You guys got anything else there under your sleeves? Up your sleeves, not under your sleeves.
Under your sleeves, up your sleeves.
If not, what you walking away with, Lorian?
Um. um. So two things. Like I told you, I was stuck on my in and out of time perspective. And my thought in my head was he can feel sorrow and whatever emotions while I'm in my stuff today and simultaneously be in my future celebrating with me in the end while I'm in. And then it was what Jerome just said, where he said we've made demigods out of grace.
Mm.
It was like, dang. It's like, ouch. Okay. Mm, yeah, that kind of hurt a little bit, just like right here.
Yeah. Jerry?
I think two things as well. It takes me back to the how did he say it? My ways are not your ways, neither my thoughts your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
There really are things we can wrestle with, and we just have to accept that not everything we wrestle with will come to a comfortable conclusion on.
Mm-hmm.
We have to be comfortable with the discomfort.
Pretty
Because I mean,
Mm-hmm.
realistically, if you could figure out everything about God, is he still God? I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah,
Just because you can understand it, don't mean you can do it, right?
yeah. John is like, yes.
I still can't do it. I understand it, but I can't do it.
Yeah, I can't do it. Yeah. Facts, facts. The and the other thing is, this whole concept again. I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with this concept again, of lordship, right? Will you? Because you summed it up nicely. Even if this thing doesn't make sense to me, I can't connect all the dots. I will still trust that you are who you say you are, which in my mind is that's demonstrating lordship, right? You still running this, you in control, even if I can't even figure out how. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna go next since we're making this circle because it's Lauren, Jerry, me. Um, I think it was the cost of the life, and then when you made the comment about how we value other people's lives or devalue them, um, that stuck with me. I don't think we all appreciate the cost of a human life, and if we did, would we treat it so callously? Um, would we treat each other so callously? If we had a better appreciation of it. And I know I've read this thing a few times. I probably read that chapter a few times in different verses, but it never really stuck with that, number. Um, that idea of the cost of a life. And then, that just, yeah, which I already said, it made Jesus' sacrifice even more potent. But today, taking out of this conversation is, can I really devalue that, for somebody else? And I think the last thing is, the value isn't on the redeemed life; it's on the unredeemed life. The value is still on the unredeemed life. So it don't really matter how bad a sinner it is. That life is just as valuable. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So, I Kendrick, you have.
Mine was similar to Jerry's. It was just thinking about your question and and I've I always kind of try to think of this thing. God uses marriage and all these different things as um, examples. He talks about maturity, perfection, and it's like there are just times when we're just not. Because I'm trying to see what you're seeing, right? I'm trying to get there.
You're not seeing it.
Like Stevie Wonder out this. So
Like, oh man.
Ray Charles, it's a hummingbird. Like it's not. But I know that over time, like you may get it. And you never know when it's gonna happen. But what's also been said is God is like he still is who he is, and so it doesn't change it. And so I think that's where as I'm wrestling, I'm like, dude, there's an answer here.
There's an answer. Where is it?
Must be.
It's got to be. you know, I take the mantra. There's always another quarter. And so, but even if I can't get to that, it doesn't change who God is. And at some point, He may reveal it to me, and He may never reveal it to me, and you know, you may only get it.
Yeah.
And so, but He is who He is, and I kind of just, as I'm wrecking my brain here, trying to think about it and put myself in your situation, in your shoes, and trying to see it from your perspective. So that's where I landed.
Yeah. That's Job, right? Where were you when? Yeah, mind,
Yeah,
mind your business.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
even going to answer your question. Just
Mind your business.
Let's see,
Pipe
those
down,
are
Sonny.
the things like I think about. Like I'm like, okay, when Jesus comes back and we make it to heaven, Lord willing, and we make it to heaven, I'm like, I can see me like, okay, so let's talk about this. Okay, so when this happened, like, what was like? I feel like I'll be posing all the questions. And I'm like, when I like, my daughter last week, she's like, you're so silly. She's like, sometimes, mom, I just told her, I was like, look, I'm a kid, okay, let me be. Because I'm like, I feel like he would say some things that would like literally blow my mind. Like, my God.
And he had a show you see that video? And we played the video for that back there. And you
Right,
see,
right.
oh, snap! Oh, snap. I'm with it. I get it.
Oh,
So
man.
I know that we're in the middle of takeaways, and there are probably some other people that have takeaways.
Mezzo does. You want to give?
Oh,
You want to?
Mezzo, go ahead.
You still? We still on your turn though. So you want to leverage your turn before we take her, or take her and then come back?
No. We take her and come back. We're doing takeaways.
Mezzo says, understanding the mind of God is a journey to relationship and not a destination. We have to keep seeking Him and be open to learning who He is. Amen. Okay, back to you.
So typically, I would say this like in the afterglow.
Okay.
Oh, glory.
Not the
That-
after.
No,
Yeah,
don't.
no.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. This is all rated G. And for those who like, the afterglow is rated G too. So
Just to be clear.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I talked to Jewel about it. And it didn't necessarily make me unsettled, but I was curious. And I was just like, Lord, I really, really love you. Like, and I value everything that you've done for me. Like, and I believe you created everything. And because you created everything, I am submissive 100% to you.
I feel it, but
And
oh, you fought it, Kendrick. You fought it.
when I die,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm that pressed to go to heaven.
Okay.
Just because, like, if I'm dead, I don't know nothing. I don't know any different. Like, there's no, like, I don't know what. And I was just like, but I know that you're the truth. And I know that because you created all and created me, that you know what's best. And I want to give that to you. Like, I want to trust you and all that. I just don't, I mean, I don't know if it makes a difference to me at that point.
Whether you
I'm not a FOMO guy. Right? I don't know if I need to feel or experience forever. Not that it wouldn't be great. I just don't, and I was curious, like, Does anybody else feel that way? Is that a bad place to be?
I would say for me, if my life had certain kinds of dynamics, I would be in the same place. And I think that many people who are looking forward to the afterlife are people who live in difficult circumstances. Now that they're hopeful that the circumstances will be different in the afterlife.
I get that.
And so I could see, if, if I had a certain quality of life here, and I'm in relationship with God where it's just about the relationship. I had the relationship here and it will just continue in the afterlife. So it's not really a shift in circumstance, really, or
Not a showstopper.
yeah. And so that makes sense. And I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing. It's more reflective of your perception of your experience in this phase, more than it is. Those
Because
people, there's a lot of people looking for the afterlife, looking for something better than here.
So,
and I
A
also
lot
hear
of
people
them,
in
not
the afterlife
everybody, but a lot.
looking for people. Like I
And
want
that.
to see, and like that. There's no guarantee, dog, that you
So,
nor
right,
they
right.
want to be there.
Right.
You might reach and they are not.
Yeah, you might reach, or they look in your
You
box.
might never reach.
Correct. Like I'm just like, go ahead. What were you saying, Lorraine?
No, I was saying for me, my my excitement is not for heaven. My excitement is for him. Because like for me in my life from I was little, I'm still like that. And I'm always like, Lord, does it mean I'm not mature spiritually yet? Like I don't, because like my thought has always been like, God, like I wish we could just sit down here and just talk. Like I just want to learn. I want to like, I'm a curious brain. So I always like learning things. I feel like of all the people I can learn from, like let's talk about some things. Like let's like give me all the things. Like give me, and that's why I feel like for me it's the yes, we have a relationship here. Yes, I know. That's not what I want though. I want him, me conversing about life and the mysteries of the world and all that
In
kind of
real
stuff.
time. Mm-hmm.
That's what I want. Like the heaven stuff, like
Gotcha.
we can be in a black room with no concept of time, and it just be you and me, and like let's talk about these things. Like tell me about it.
I'm not gonna say that's selfish, but that's fine because there's like a number that can't be numbered that want to have, but it's fine.
Well, I'm saying it's not about them. It's not about them. That's not why I'm excited. I'm not excited to go.
No, I was
But of
just,
course, I feel
I'm
like
just, you know,
if I lost a loved one, um, I feel like that would add to like the things I would look. So just like Jerry was saying, like whatever it is that we feel we're missing, I think we tend to want that on the other side of things. So if like I
right.
lost a loved one or whatever, like I would
But that
look for.
seems like a bad situation because if you lost a loved one and they don't make it, then you're like
You won't be
you just,
sad.
you just
You
look,
won't be sad.
you just looking,
You just won't be
right?
sad.
You're
He'd be
not
like,
gonna
I
think
didn't
about it.
make it. Like, oh.
But then I think about the fact that this whole thing's about reconciliation and restoration, right? And it feels like am I then being selfish in the fact that it's not like a big deal? Like, I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not like
Well, to
if
be
I'm
fair
dead,
to
I don't
you,
know.
to be
Right.
fair
That's
to
how I
you,
was like, yeah.
heaven is
If
an
I'm dead, I
extended
don't. There's no.
vacation.
Was that?
To be fair to you, heaven is an extended vacation, and then we coming back to live here again. So you're coming back to pretty much do the same, not the same thing, because
Not
the
the same thing because
dynamics will be
it's
different, but you know maybe there's a little bit more technology, but you're coming back to live a life here on Earth again.
yeah.
you know,
And I'm not sure like the things I enjoy doing. Like I like playing golf. Everybody's I mean, it's just gonna have a perfect round. I don't know.
No, people
It's
still
just-
have bad
You can't
form.
hit a bad shot in the perfect world. Come on, dude.
Yeah, because what's perfect is your agape. That's what's perfect.
Was that again?
What's perfect is your agape, not your swing. You still have to
My
go practice
swing
that.
won't be perfect by then.
Well,
Oh,
maybe if
God,
you
definitely
practice,
won't.
maybe if you practice,
what's the
but it ain't gonna become perfect because
Because you're there for it.
your swing is
I
not
don't know
right
if
to sin.
I don't know if you guys remember there was this really old because this old Dallas Home song. Probably don't even know who that is.
You
Something
said Ty
about
Dolla? What'd you say?
Dallas Home. It's this old
Oh, Dallas
Christian,
Home.
yeah,
Gotcha.
singer. He had this song about, I don't remember the name of it, but something about if heaven was never promised to me, even God's something to live eternally, it'll still be worth just having the Lord in my life, right?
Mhm.
So it's like, at least that's what I received from what you said. It's like just based on the opportunity to know God, experience Him here and now. It's not about the benefits to come. It's what I
Correct.
can
Like
experience here and now,
the
having Him in my
benefit,
life.
the
That's
benefit
great fees.
is
Yeah.
correct. Like the benefit for me is um being able to have access and tap into the creator and to live the optimum life like he designed for you to live, right?
Mhm.
Whatever that life is. And you never know how that's going to turn out, right?
Yeah.
But that's in my head, I think that's what true trust and like submission is, right? And so whatever happens after that happens after that, right? So if I make it, I make it. If I don't, I'm not gonna know.
Well, you
And
will
it's
know.
like,
You will know
nope.
eventually.
Was that again?
You will know eventually.
Well, I'm not gonna know like for eternity,
No, you're not
right? I'm
gonna
just gonna at some point. At some point, the thought's gonna end. Like I'll have
at some
shucks,
point, yes, you're gonna
and then I die, right? And then I
you're
don't
gonna
know
yeah,
anymore,
at some point.
right? And it's probably not gonna be all shucks. It'll be like, oh, rocks, cry out, follow
Rocks
me.
cry
Like
out.
it's gonna be
What?
that. It's gonna be rocks, follow me, and all that. Like, whatever it is,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna know soon after that, right? Um, and so I was troubled by the thought because I was like,
What does that mean?
well, the word that came, I won't say, but I was like, I called myself a name, and then I was like, that doesn't like, why would you think that? And I haven't been able to shake it. So I talked to Jewel.
Hmm.
I was like, I can't get to um, where it matters, like more than what
What you're experiencing here now,
correct.
and what
What
you're developing now.
I don't like I'm praying and and having conversations about like it can't out. I don't know.
So it sounds like you're living in like a state of contentment. Like I'm fine with this, and when this is done, it's done. Like there's nothing else
It,
that I need extra. No more. Like I'm good. This is fine.
I would say that's a level of maturity, Karen, because a lot of us, have tied our relationship to God to things that He's going to do for us.
Right.
And even the afterlife is an extension of that.
It's like a disciple who said, like, I have had much and I've had little, and I'm just like, like oh. And now that you say that, I'm like, has there ever been a disciple like excited to go to heaven? Like, I don't think I.
well, you heard about people that were. So that's a good question, though. I mean, you read Hebrews 11, but
Mhm.
that's Paul
Mhm.
talking about kind of in third person.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
We
Actually, I
don't
never
have
thought about
people
it.
who wrote Hebrews. We think, I mean, the people who think it's Paul, but there's no real.
Or yeah, whoever the
author.
Bama was. Yes, yes.
Because I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Nothing. I feel like Jesus gave the example of contentment, and then said, like, "Follow me, do what I do." So don't prepare for things. Don't like just go where I tell you to go and do what I tell you to do,
But
and it
he
will be
but he
all right.
gave but didn't he give but he also gave us more. Like he gave us something to look forward to where he was like it was
Right,
important for him to, like I said, not just reconcile us
right,
to him, but also
right,
to restore us to the original
right,
state
right,
that he,
right,
all of
right,
that's important to him. And
right.
if it's not important to me, like if that's not a, a driver, then where does that leave me today? It may change,
So
right?
you're saying the reconciliation is not important to you right now, or heaven
Um,
is not important to you?
well, I think the I think the reconciliation is what's happening now,
Right.
So,
Okay.
right?
Right.
And
Mhm.
so that is important to me because
Right.
of
Right.
who he is, right?
Okay.
And so I'm
Mhm.
acknowledging that based upon
Mhm.
my decisions,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Um, the restoration is important to him.
Okay. Not.
Um, not so much to me.
Okay.
Um, and I'm only saying restoration because I think the restoration, as I see it, the restoration occurs once he returns, right?
Mhm.
That's the now, you know, come home,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
I've created a mansion. I want to be with you for eternity, right? Um, all these things I've done for you now, you know, welcome my good and faithful servant. Like that, I think that's like the
Okay.
culmination as I see it of the restoration.
But let's say you weren't, because when you described it before, you were saying like if you were asleep, you're asleep. But what if you're alive when he comes? Would you be like, "Can you just put me to sleep?" Would that be your like? You get what I'm saying? Like, would you be like, you just put me to sleep"?
Well, I'm sleep, I'm sleep. I don't know anything, whether it's
Right. So you're saying if you die.
at whatever point I go to sleep, right?
Okay.
Whether it's now or afterwards, I'm not
Mhm.
sure, right? Even the second resurrection, I'm going back to sleep.
I ain't gonna know no
In the
better either
in
way.
in the famous words of my brother Umar, for good. Like I'm going to sleep for good,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And at that point, I'm not going to know either way,
Okay.
forever and ever and ever.
Okay.
So I understand people because my wife is one of them who has FOMO. Like she don't like going to sleep at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. She don't like sleeping because she's scared of what she doesn't want to miss anything.
Mhm.
Right? Um, I'm not that guy. I'm cool.
I'm gonna go to
I'll
sleep. Tell me
sleep.
how it was.
Tell me how it was. Right? If I can be there, great. But if I can, it's not a big deal.
I don't think anything wrong with that, man.
No.
So
Yeah.
I was
I
just
don't.
curious to get your thoughts. Hold on, my family's coming home.
Uh, Mezzo had asked, using the marriage analogy, does one stay in a long distance dating, talking only over the phone in prayer, or do they level up to living together in union, growing more relationship face to face? Yeah, I think that's kind
Level
of
up.
what the feel is. Um, you know, the transition to being together as opposed to just going to move into your house. Like if we go into the shack or we go into the big house, it really don't matter as long as
Together.
get rid of that distance. We now in the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Now it'd be nicer in the big house, but it's neither here nor there. As long as we together, I don't really care. We share the.
I was just hoping I wasn't alone, but it sounds like I'm alone.
Look, it's only 4. We don't make up the whole everybody. Ew, plenty of people.
No, feels kind of lonely.
No, but to be honest, though, your perspective sounds peaceful.
It does.
Yeah, your perspective sounds peaceful. So I wouldn't.
It doesn't feel as peaceful as I'm processing through it. Like it feels peaceful, like
day to day
as I'm processing, right? But then when I start thinking about it, I'm like, dude, that's like the wrong side of it. Like you got to figure that one out. It doesn't feel same team.
Same team as who?
Right.
God. He wants, like, he desires he wants to be with us, right? Emotionally, he feels that. The fact that,
with us, right?
Huh?
Isn't he already doing that? Like,
yeah, but it's like, but this whole process is like, to get him to restore us back to where we were, right? He wants us back to how he created us, right? And so he's given up a lot, right? He's done a lot. So there's a lot of value I'm looking at from his perspective. And for me not to be aligned with that is where, as I think about it, I'm just like, like,
so you
really,
feel like you're being ungrateful for all that he's done to try to do it.
Actually, yeah, that's actually a good way. Yeah, it just feels like it's a little sus on my part. So anyway, I was just throwing it out there because I was curious as to how people thought.
I'm hearing dynamic praise. Take the world, give me Jesus. Give me Jesus.
And then you hear those songs, right? And it's like,
I must sit in that a little bit, Ken. Like I think I'm beginning to capture a little bit of where you are, and the sus part of it. Because initially I didn't perceive it like that, but I could see from a relational standpoint how it would feel. How I could feel slighted if we have the opportunity to be together and you quite content with the long distance relationship. I'm like, well, wait, what? What? Wait, what?
Just being
you just cool with just talking on FaceTime, like you don't want to come over, like
no,
I'm good.
It's cool. We can FaceTime or not. Still my guy.
I see the problem you perceive now, because that would be an issue for me.
Relationally.
I would feel that kind of way.
That'd be like,
you're still my guy. I will never unfriend you. I'm still following your podcast. I'm still doing all that. I'll still interact, right? Yeah. But I don't need to come over,
but Jewel can. I would feel that way.
Yeah. Yes. So,
I would feel
and that's what, and I've kind of been processing through that, like trying to be honest with my emotions and my thoughts and all that.
Just uncover why. I'm not saying you can do it in this moment. It's something that you have to dig up, like why. And I would argue in your favor that abstraction can do that. If he is an abstract concept or figure, that's not an unreasonable place to sit.
Yeah.
But if he becomes a real person like Jewel, I don't know that. Well, you know what? It could be that we just get accustomed to the. This is all I know, so I don't really. I don't feel like I'll be.
And I think that's what I'm not.
I don't
I'm
know
not sure
what that is.
he's never felt more real. Like this has never been more real in my life than like he is now, right?
This is a FaceTime relationship, so I don't.
But yes, it's 100% FaceTime. Well, like what's up? Because I don't have Apple. I think it's apples of the devil. But that's like it's WhatsApp.
WhatsApp all day.
Um,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm just curious as to how people thought, and like I'm gonna keep fleshing it out, but it just felt it
I
felt
wonder.
lonely.
I wonder how that abstraction is impacting. That and I don't know anything else but this, so I'm good with this because I found value in this way. So the idea of something else is not as intriguing because I found this to be satisfying. So yeah, that makes sense. Um,
Yeah, keep muting myself as I continue to grow. Um, Maybe it changes. So anyway, I didn't mean to drag it out. It just crossed my mind.
no, it's a good thought. It's a good thought. I I just add this one last piece. I felt that God was an abstract thing for a long time. It was it wasn't a real. I I didn't view my relationship with God like I viewed other relationships, and it's not until
Mm-hmm.
I realized that He wants to have that similar type of engagement with me that I now had to shift the way I view the relationship to engage in a intimate personal relationship rather than this abstract dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that may have pushed me more into that. But as long as he remained that abstract dynamic, I was okay with the impersonal, distant, emotionless, logical, thing. Like there was no emotion really in it. It was all head, you know, this makes sense. And so,
Yeah, but I feel like I've been transitioning to the more I'm not an emotional person in general. Um, but I feel like I've been getting out of the heady and like being like it's a much more interactive. The one thing that hasn't changed is like, yeah, you die, you die. Like you don't if you don't know, you don't know. Like, you know, I think that's the thing that's been more consistent. And really hasn't changed from its true direction.
yeah,
Well, the fact that you're thinking about me might be an indicator that that shift is coming.
hey,
Yep.
hey, I like
Or
that.
yeah, I'm gonna take that and leave it there.
Yeah. Jerry, I'd like to ask you to pray for Kenrick.
Wow.
Something's wrong with this. We're gonna bring him before the altar.
Yeah. Come forward, Brother Kenrick, and receive your blessing.
Touch your hand.
You want to place my head on the screen?
Yeah. And I just like,
And olive oil over here is cheap. I got olive oil for
oh,
days.
God. Oh, man. Olive oil body great. Oh. Lava free. Let's close with prayer. Father God, we are indeed thankful for the opportunity to dig into the word like this and get a better understanding of you, how you view us, your love for us, and how we should view ourselves and others. Um, we're thankful for your sacrifice, and we pray that we just choose to walk worthy of it, understanding that none of us could pay the price that you paid. Protect us, preserve us, and persevere with us is our prayer in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Next time we're together is the first Friday in October, which is October 3rd. So in 2 weeks, we don't have a long break like we did the last time. So we're doing it. Hopefully, we'll see if we could get the bishop some PTO. That manager driving a hard.
Yeah, boy. Fair way or no way, man.
A new manager is a tough boss boy. All right. The next time we come together, we should be into the writings and times of Peter and Daniel, Jeremiah and Daniel, and then we still in Kenrick's favorite book. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read it I'm gonna read it in for the next one.
Looking forward to that conversation. I think Courtney should be back. Until next time, good to see you all. Thank you for your feedback and contribution. Drink up.
Drink up.